So like I feel proud when I talk about it, but at the end of the day, it takes from you.
Okay, thank you very much. Secretary General, sir, I just wonder what work from the AI that you've done so far, the data labeling, what has stayed with you? You know, all this time people have been working from AI for 7 years, and for me, I'm just like, hey, it looks like a 3-year-old project. Like the time AI has started becoming famous is just much more recent than 7 years ago. Because 7 years ago is when 2018. So my thinking is it seems more recent. It seems like something like came in 2022, 2023. That's my understanding as a layman. But what work has stayed with you? What story has really stuck with you since you started this work?
Okay, for me, I would say, let me start from back then. I also have a background in aviation. We happen to have done the same course. And growing up, I really wanted to understand how flights with all that weight, all that tonnage, operates in the space, and they're not landing on anything. And I'm like, how do you have a whole tonnage in air? Like, how do, let me say, pilots get to their destinations, the timings, and what have you? So growing up, I really wanted to understand that. And that is why I ended up in the aviation industry. But as Chichi said, she's been there for like 10 years. Me, I only worked for 6 months. And I was like, I think I understand why I have to send cargo to Netherlands through these routes. So I had solved all the problems, routing and time. And I was like, no, I don't think I can, continue working in the space again. Yeah. How I found myself in the space, first of all, I lost my first job in 2018. That was at a company on Mombasa Road, that was Tile and Carpet Center. I lost on a very day when my wife was actually giving birth. And so I stay in that space. Then a year later, I have my eldest son again. In school, a fellow pupil just pushed him into a boiler of beans, and now he has burnt the entire backside of him, and we are admitted at the hospital. So I didn't have that time to look for a job. And then from there, later a year on, he's again diagnosed with cancer of the lymphatic system. Now the journey starts again. I'm admitted at KNH with him. Then from there now, I am at KNH. But then I had done some training with Summer back then at Lavington. So I'm here, Summer calls me for an interview. And I'm at KNH, and I'm like, I need money like anyone's business. So I'm here, I need a job. I am nursing cancer, COVID is there. We are buying cancer drugs on our own. And here I am, there is a job. So I'm torn into two. Like, do I leave my child at the hospital, go work, or do I, just avoid the job and stay with the kid at the hospital? And I was like, I need the money because I'm buying drugs, I'm paying for everything at the hospital, and it's 2 years I don't have a job. So I decided to go for interview. I think the first 1 month of me being at Summer, I was leaving KNH to Summer, then Summer back to KNH for the whole month. And then from there we are discharged. There is no money, I have a bill. I had spent over 1.7 million shillings that I had actually borrowed from friends and those who were willing to assist at that time. Then now I have to start working. And deductions also have to start coming in because I have a salary of 21,000 at that time, and I have deductions of 24,000. So I'm supposed to have a balance on how the whole salary must go. I have to take care of my children, and the medication and what have you, their basics. This is where I am. Then, fortunate enough, I find myself working from home, and I have to work on the space, make sure I have every other opportunity within that space that can actually help me raise money. Then here I am, I come across a link, a friend sends me a link, and the link is about pornography. I'm supposed to start annotating pornographic videos, where you're given a pornographic video, and you're told to put tags on every frame, and by frame, I mean every second. You have to do like 15 tags. So if you're searching for pornography, for example, on the internet, you're like, what tags can I use to access this pornography? So if it's, let's say, if it's a doggy style, now you write doggy. Like you have to write all these tags, at least 15 of the tags on every frame. So here I am, I'm annotating pornographic material for 8 hours and for 8 months because I needed the money. So I got to a point where everything just shattered. I have a wife, I can't do anything with her for 8 months. And here I am, but thank God I went through one organization, the Faraja Cancer Support Center, just next to MP Shah in Parklands. They really came through for me at that time because after I felt like my life had come to an end, where like my own relationship is fractured at that time. I can't like relate with my wife, intimately. She's there, she's a human being. I also understand her pain, I also understand my own pain, and here I am. But Faraja came through for me. I did counseling for quite some time with them. They really helped me a lot. And I've lived with this thing for, sometimes I look at pornography and it doesn't even affect me. Yeah, it's a normal thing for me. So this is what I've lived with ever since I started doing this work. And it's one of the toughest jobs I've done in this space. Thank you.
Thank you for being very vulnerable. I don't think it's an easy thing to do. But when you talk of counseling, I can now come to Kauna, who can help us to kind of think of these things. But one thing that I think about and people easily conflate is data labeling and content moderation. People sometimes do not see there's a distinction between the two. And, much as Kauna, you're giving a story from content moderation, I think the mental health aspect of both can be similar, but they're two very distinct tasks. So I just wanted to clarify that, because Joan would kill me if I don't. But at the same time, it's also good because it's through the DLA that I get some information, right? It's through such forums that we come and get educated about online and data work, because sometimes it's just an assumption that, this is what they do. There are BPOs that hire them. This is what they say. It's the same thing. Sometimes there are some distinctions between these tasks. And so, speaking of counseling, and now coming to you, Kauna, as a counseling psychologist, but also as a former content moderator, and we've talked a lot about mental health, but I think when you're trying to talk of the stories and to humanize, I think it's very important for us to see, because there's a workforce that is still active, that are still undergoing these issues. So what do you think is the best intervention? Because you're an advocate of mental health, what are some of the interventions that can be done and should be done for mental health in this kind of workspaces, much as there can be different and similar?
All right, so for me, this can be two ways. So one, the employer side and also the employee side. So from the employer, I think full disclosure is the first key to mitigating the issue. Because first of all, if I had known that this is the kind of job I was going to do, the contents I was going to moderate, I wouldn't have even accepted the job at first. So I think most of us, especially an average African, is predisposed to mental health issues from early childhood to adulthood and all that. So one is already predisposed to mental health issues, and then combining it with content moderation, data labeling, and those contents, it's an absolute disaster. And that is why, for me, the first from the employer side is to disclose this is the kind of job you're going to do. And secondly, also to have mental health assessment, which is the psychological tests and assessments, which are usually done by psychiatrists and also a clinical psychologist. That would also inform the worker, am I in a good mental space to do this job or not? Because if I'm already dealing with depression, anxiety, PTSDs from my childhood, it's already a red flag for me not to engage in such jobs. So the employer really took away that opportunity for us as workers to really decide if it's the kind of job that we would like to do or not. And secondly, also, after the assessment has been done, yeah, you can do the job. What about the trainings? The trainings are not adequate. We've seen doctors are trained for 6 years, the military men, police, because they would be exposed to a lot of graphic things. Maybe someone has passed, they have to go there, do investigations and all that. These guys are fully trained to handle such. But in moderation, data labeling, and most of these jobs that we've seen, you're just ambushed. You just sign up, you don't even understand what you're getting into. The next thing, you're flooded with suicide contents, pornography, and all that. Your brain is even confused. You're also confused. You don't even know what's going on with you. You're having nightmares. You're thinking, is this the job? Is this my family issues? So there's a lot of things that comes together, and then it explodes into full mental health issues, especially PTSDs. We've seen post-traumatic stress disorders, depression, anxiety, among other mental health issues. And from now, even for us as the workers, we go through mental health issues in our lives normally, that we tend to, like for us in Nigeria, it will be like, it's juju, it's family, it's village people. When you're having nightmares, you begin to pray that someone is after you. But these are real mental health issues. And then when you start doing this kind of jobs, you are now conflicted. Is it truly the village people? Because now you keep seeing what you've moderated during the day. They play out throughout the night. And then the insomnia sets in. And then the anxiety and all that. And it's very important that even for us as workers, when we engage in the job, like you've said, people who are currently working, I'm constantly in touch with them. Like right now, I have like 5 who would like to speak to me, but I've been busy. And you can see that people are really yearning to get help. They're open to have this mental health care, but it's not there. They don't even know how to access it. And even if they can access it, they don't even have the financial means to access that. It really breaks my heart, I think, for the past few weeks, where workers will reach out, I really want to speak to you at the middle of the night, and I'm like, even me myself, I'm overwhelmed. So how can I, be able to help you? I would just squeeze out some time to speak to them, encourage them and all that. But it still breaks me within to see that workers really need this help. And we've been talking so much about, yes, the payment, working conditions and all that. But I've seen that post-job, like after you've done the data labeling, after you've done content moderation, it even gets worse. It never gets better. Unlike, normally people will say like, but you are no longer doing moderation, you're no longer doing labeling, it's been 3 years, it's been 4 years, maybe you're just being petty and whatever. But we have seen that it gets worse due to so many issues. When it comes to mental health, there's a lot of stigma. And the stigma usually comes even from the close family members. Like, for example, his life experience that we've seen. You cannot even tell your partner, this is the kind of work I'm doing. And even if you tell them, do they even understand? No, they don't understand. You've done your work. You are now back at home. Be the husband, be the father, be the brother. No one sees that it's something you carry over, like it affects all part of your life. So how can we also sensitize even our close family members to be of support to us? Because I've seen now, even with content moderators that have stopped working from 2023, like me, Naftali, they would reach out and be like, can you imagine my mom is telling my husband, I'm petty, I just need attention. And she was so stressed, she almost got divorced. This is someone that I know very close to me. And it really emphasizes the need that even our family members need to be included in the mental health care that we provide for them to really understand and know how to also support us in turn. So it's a whole chain that needs to be done. And you can see it's a whole lot of work. It needs a lot of energy, investment, and also intentional people who would like to support us. So we need a whole lot of networks to come in. So for those working because of the NDAs, and that's where Mercy comes in, I think that was the break, for me, that was what broke the camel's back. When I was speaking to her 2023 to join the case, and I was like, hey, Mercy, I have an NDA. She's like, but it's not legal. She tried to explain it. It wasn't making any sense to me. For me, it's that jail I was thinking about. I would tell her I would join. The next day I would call her. I would be like, no, I'm no longer joining. She's like, okay, she's fine. And she has been so kind to really help us go through the process of understanding the legal process. And that was it for me, because I was able to break that chain, even in my mind, that I'm not able to get help. I've been to hospitals. Aga Khan here is they know me. For years, I've done MRI scans, CT scan here in Aga Khan. I was always here almost 3-4 times a week. And they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. But the doctor kept emphasizing, what do you do?